what about your experiences like coming to the Midwest from different countries and different cultural backgrounds? And like the Midwest is, it's the John Hughes sort of Breakfast Club. See, this is a pop culture reference that none of your peers will understand, I guess. But a lot of his popular movies of the 80s were filmed all in the Midwest because that's a very cultural sect of our American culture. But how was that? I mean, as opposed to East or West Coast, and maybe this wasn't your first, you moved to Chicago area?
Yes.
Yeah, and you're straight from
Yes.
India, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How has it been on campus? I mean, what has been your experience? Because like I'm a suburb kid from Illinois who went to the University of Illinois. I am Tom Cruise in Risky Business, another pop culture. That's not your background and story. So how has that been?
I mean, for me, it was definitely
Did you guys already cover this like 38 times on previous podcasts?
No, not really.
I mean, you haven't listened to it, so that really matters.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for me, it was a totally different like cultural change because like it didn't matter if I went to the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, because it was all still going to be very different than from where I'm coming from, right? And I mean, I grew up watching a lot of Hollywood movies and TV shows and everything. So I mean, I had a certain idea in my head of what it was going to be like, and the kind of like I was already familiar with the culture. I mean, obviously the culture that they show in dramas and all of that, but
the portrayal of American
exactly
in college life.
Right.
Did you see Animal House?
No, I have not.
Oh, all right. Okay, sorry.
I'll keep that in mind.
Please.
So yeah, I mean, I had my own ideas, but it's a totally different thing once you come here because you're actually it's like you're in the movie, right? And then you need to
love that. Mm-hmm.
You need to figure it out by yourself. Like at the beginning, I did feel lost because a lot of the things it would feel like I could not connect with the conversation at all. Like I felt like my peers had different priorities than me, had just totally different things that they cared about, and it was a matter of just like observing and trying to like, in some ways, mimic, or I would say bounce off each other's ideas and cultures and see and like find a middle ground because I'm still like my ideas are still very much rooted from where I come from.
Is this 2 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And but there's still a lot of American influence that has still seeped into it because it's more of a blend now. It's like I would say the best of both worlds in some ways, and yeah, I mean, I think it gets easier with time, obviously, because the more people you meet, the more people you interact with, the more you learn, the more comfortable you start feeling in this environment. And I've been fortunate enough to make some very good friends over these 2 years, meet some wonderful people, and just share all these ideas with so many new people because people are always excited to learn what another country is like. So they always ask me, oh, how was your high school like, or what did you do when you were growing up? And it's always fun to like share these stories, and I think that's like a good topic to connect and just build relationships. And yeah, like first semester I met him, and like how we met was also really interesting because one day we were both at the dining hall, and he just asked me where you're planning on eating. I said I didn't have any plans, so we just like sat down and had like a 2-hour conversation while eating dinner. So I mean that's how we met, and I don't know, like it's these like little things, small things that just happen to you that you would not plan out, but just go on such a long way in shaping who you are and being more comfortable in this environment.
I mean, that story doesn't surprise me, but it's not merely a footnote. It's much more developed. It's a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to brag about the orange and blue in this community. And if I had to have guessed, I would have imagined your experience, which had to be at a minimum intimidating,
mm-hmm.
Because of, like I said, it's a very different part of the world.
Right.
But it's a welcoming community. People are excited to meet. And I'm sure those sort of tales are familiar on every campus across the country, but this is a special one, and it's super. Sorry, I was going to say it's super awesome, which is neither super nor awesome of me to say. But yeah, this sort of story, how you guys met, and then in just a short amount of time, and now you've started this podcast, and the university. It's obviously the university is a central theme to this, but it's shaped your lives. It's really cool. It shaped my life.
Yeah.
But